Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video, and today we are going to talk about, of course, the Green Bay versus Chicago game. Now, of course, Green Bay won the game. Of course, they blocked the last field goal of the game, and, we can sit here and talk about the penalties that should have been called on that play, let alone, and I get it, right? I'm a big emphasis guy on, if you look at almost any play in the NFL, there's guaranteed to be some type of play, right? Receivers not lined up properly, 100% properly, if the line's not aligned 100% properly, a defensive lineman's head is too far across the ball, just anything. You can virtually call a penalty on any play, right? It's pretty hard to not look at a single play and see at least one penalty, whether it's a hold, offensive PI, defensive hold, illegal contact, offsides, false starts, illegal formations, anything. You can realistically look at any play and say, this play also has a flag on it, right? And I'm totally one of those guys. And I'm not one to sit here and be like, oh, you're not giving us a fair opportunity. You're not, letting us play, all this fun stuff. But it's just kind of annoying when on two plays that matter the most for the Chicago Bears season, both the Commanders, Hail Mary, and this field goal, there's a penalty and the refs are nowhere to be seen, right? Now, if you did not know, the couple penalties I'm referring to on the blocked field goal from Green Bay is that you're not allowed to line up anywhere over the long snapper. There's two Green Bay players with their basically in the A gap lining up. Now, they're not 100% lining up in the A gap, right? They're not, right in between the long snapper and the guard, but they are lining up there, okay? So that technically is a penalty. Or at least the ref is supposed to go up to him before the snap happens and go, hey, you need to move. That's according to the NFL rules. Then there's also a rule, it's kind of old, it's from like 2014, 2015, that says you're not supposed to be able to line up and overemphasize, overloading a side or overloading a gap, because it's to prevent leverage and people just pushing, right? And people using just pure strength and pushing, right? I know it's a kind of stupid rule. I don't know if it's still in play, especially with all the new kicking rules that have come over the last 10 years or so. But that's also a rule that I did find online. And then according to the NFL's website and stuff like that. And then, of course, there's the rule where you're not supposed to be able to touch the long snapper if his head is down. Now, I get it. I don't remember if it's Patrick Scales or if it's the other guy that we brought in, Scott Daly or whoever. But it's just kind of annoying. I understand that he did stand up after a little bit, but you're not supposed to be able to hit the long snapper, and you're not actually supposed to be able to get underneath guys and push them. Get underneath your own player and push them and use that as leverage. So it's just kind of annoying with all the penalties that happened. Even national media, ESPN talk shows and stuff are even talking about it, being like, there should have been penalties on this. And it is annoying, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say that I am not upset that the penalty wasn't called. The penalty definitely should have been called. I think that was kind of ridiculous, just from the NFL standpoint. Like, I get it. You want entertainment, but it's just kind of dumb, when we did most of our stuff right. Now, of course, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we didn't play a good game, but we definitely didn't play at we didn't play up to the level that was necessary of us, right? Letting Christian Watson go off for the yards he went for, especially on one of the plays where he's double teamed, another play where Jalen Johnson falls down and then nobody's around him to even, touch him down. He gets up and continues to run. Josh Jacobs basically calling out Bears defenders to come tackle him, and we're too scared to really go hit him, I guess. It is definitely a concern. The offensive line having so many fucking injuries. We finally have Ryan Bates back at left guard, and he's out with injury, right? So it's just like, it's not just the penalty at the end. It's just everything went wrong for us for the most part. Caleb looked good. The receivers finally looked good. DeAndre Swift still looks good. Roshan still looks good. I did like the play from Braxton Jones on the pitch, but, we can't just have you only winning in, run plays. Now, of course, the offensive line did hold up. Was that due to Caleb Williams getting the ball out the quickest he's got it out this season? At one point during the first half, I think he had like one of the quickest throw out, average times to throw in the NFL that season. Of course, it did go down as the game progressed, and he had to hold on to the ball a little bit more. But I don't get me wrong, we definitely should have won this game. It's kind of annoying that two plays where you can obviously and clearly see major penalties, not just like ticky-tack ones, like an illegal formation or a guy's helmet lining up offsides on the defensive line. No, these are serious fouls that should change the game. And look, I'm not going to completely, like I said, I'm not going to completely sit here and be like, oh, the penalties, right? Eberflus, we had 40 seconds. Let Caleb throw a couple more balls. Let us run the ball a couple more times. Get some type of more field position, right? And there's a thing coming out about I don't know how to say his last name, but the special teams coordinator for Green Bay basically being like, hey, we saw as a special teams unit that Cairo Santos has a low trajectory kick. So we figured if we can push the line back even a little bit and get our hands up, we should be able to get some pressure and potentially even block a field goal. Now, I will say this, as we were lining up, I'm like, I didn't think it was going to be the right side. Unfortunately, it was. I thought Larry Bonerum, no offense to Bonerum, I thought his ass was going to get ran over, just me personally. But the whole time, as I was sitting there watching it, I was barely watching it, and I'm like, this dude's about to get ran. One of these dudes is about to get ran over, and we're going to get this field goal blocked. I didn't think Cairo Santos was going to miss. I didn't think it was going to be something of that nature. I figured if we're going to lose, it's probably going to be a block here, and that's exactly what happened. Like I said, it is unfortunate, to be fair. Losing to Green Bay for 11 straight times, it's no longer a rivalry. As a Chicago Bears fan, I think we all need to admit it's no longer a rivalry. We can sit here and say, oh, the rivalry between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, they're like 12 or 14 wins above us in the standings now. So it's just like, it's no longer a rivalry. I know there's a lot of other rivalries that have much bigger win disparate, win totals comparative to our rivalry in quotation marks against Green Bay, but we haven't consistently won since probably the early 2000s, if not before then. So it's just like it's no longer a rivalry, right? It hasn't been a fair fight in at least 15 years. So it's just like it's not really a rivalry at this point. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to give the flowers to the Green Bay Packers. They definitely played, even with some of their mistakes and some of the mishandles that they had. They definitely came out and played, right? I like Jordan Love. I liked him coming out of the draft. I did. I was actually a big adamant fan because I think this was going into Mitch Trubisky's fourth year of us drafting Jordan Love in the second or third round, depending if he fell. And, of course, Green Bay traded up and went and got him, so it was just like, okay. And as soon as they drafted him, too, I was telling other Bears fans, I'm like, they know what they're doing. They're getting their next guy. Like, he might not be on Aaron Rodgers' level. Might not be on Brett Favre's level, but they're getting their next guy. They're getting their next quarterback ready. And he's going to be ready, and he's going to play good. He's going to be at least a good quarterback. And, of course, he is. So it's unfortunate having to see a guy that I like, that I wanted, going to the Green Bay Packers, knowing he's going to be good. He's going to be good. He is good. No matter what you think of Jordan Love, he's still a top 15 quarterback in the league. You'll still take him over some of the guys. You'll still take him over guys like Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence at this point. You'll still take him over a lot of other starters in the league, in my opinion. It's unfortunate. The Bears just aren't playing up to the standard that it needs to be. Matt Eberflus is 5-17 in one-score games. I think he's at like a .313 total win percentage on his career. He's not the guy at this point. I think we know that. I don't think McCaskey's are going to fire him midseason. I don't think they're even going to attempt. I just don't think they have the guts or balls to really fire him midseason. I think they'll just be like, whatever, the season's a wash at this point. We'll just go ahead and let it roll out from here on out. Which is unfortunate, right? But it's kind of what we knew. If they weren't going to get rid of him earlier, they're not going to get rid of him now. And, the cycle continues of drafting QB, letting the coach have one more year, him failing drastically, and potentially ruining the development of the quarterback that we just drafted. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of Mitch Trubisky, but letting him run out with John Fox, and John Fox basically being like, we're going to start Mike Lennon. Bad idea. And then giving Nagy one more year to develop with Justin Fields. I don't think there was any saving Justin Fields, just based off of the coordinators that he did end up getting besides Nagy, but just kind of crazy to me that we just continue the cycle. And then there was one more stat that I wanted to bring up, and it's we lead the league. I'm pretty sure we were at least. I think we were tied for first in I think full starts. We were top 5 or 6 in illegal formations / like just pre-snap penalty. And I know we're like up there. I'm pretty sure we're a top 3 team in pre and post snap penalties. So it's like it just gets frustrating seeing these guys, and I think that's more of a coaching issue than anything. I think when we're so far off, I don't know if Caleb Williams is changing his cadence at all, but I don't want to blame it completely on the coaching staff, right? I don't like the coaching staff, so if I really wanted to, I could definitely continue just to blame it on the coaching staff. When you're one of the teams that has the most pre and post snap penalties in the entire league, it kind of gets frustrating because it's just like, okay, that's mainly on the coaching, right? Another season of being a Bears fan and looking forward to the offseason, being like, ooh, what can we do this year? And like I've said, I think Poles gets one more year. I think he gets 1 year to really fix this offensive line. I don't think Keenan Allen's probably brought back under any circumstance for the most part. I think we let him walk. Gerald Everett's not getting used enough. I think he walks. I think you just got to go out and spend big money on the offensive line. I think if you need to go trade for whoever you can trade for. If Dallas is willing to give up on the salary of Zach Martin, I know he just recently signed or last year he signed, but it's unfortunate, right? Definitely should have won the game, but we didn't. It's as simple as that. Really, it just comes down to that. We didn't win. We didn't do enough. Eberflus's coaching decisions, I think, really cost us more than anything. Like I said, we can talk about the penalties on the last play of the game, but I think Eberflus's coaching decisions to not pick up more yardage. I understand you don't want to accidentally commit a turnover, but it's like I would rather lose by Caleb Williams trying to be aggressive and going for some more yards so that the kick is super easy for Cairo. He doesn't have to drive it so low than us losing on a blocked kick. I would much rather see Caleb Williams throw a pick, trying to get us more yards, trying to get us into better field position, trying to get Cairo Santos an easier kick than to fucking lose on a block kick. That's just my opinion, though. I've always been that kind of guy, especially as I've grown older, right? I can accept picks. They're a part of the NFL. With that being said, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video or any of the videos here on my channel, I would appreciate if you guys do stick around and subscribe. I'll be back with more videos like this. If you guys want to have a discussion, anything. The NFL is officiating. I don't know. I feel like if this was for a different team, or if this happened, if the Kansas City Chiefs were to do this, I think there would be a lot more uptick. I think if a team that people actually cared about, if this happened to them, I think there'd be a lot more uptick. I think there'd be a lot more roar. But I think the Bears fans are just kind of over it at this point. And it's funny because even with how bad our record is going at 4-6 now, it still doesn't I don't even know if that still puts us in the top 10 for picks this year. I really don't. Looking forward to the offseason already at this point. We know Eberflus is the guy. He should get the axe in this offseason. I think Ryan Poles gets one, maybe 2 more years depending on the head coaching situation. Like I said, we should have fired Eberflus last year, but we didn't. So, whatever. I'm out. Peace.